What up, Laker Nation? It's your boy DTLF back on another post-game recap as the Lakers survived the San Antonio Spurs during THT's return. Man, I gotta say, congratulations, man. What a great game by THT. It wasn't perfect. He missed a couple of wide open shots, and he was hesitant, but he's only gonna get better as he continues to get more comfortable in his return. But I really like what I saw from this team tonight in spurts, of course. We didn't close out the game in the best of ways, and I thought the rotations were good all the way to the fourth quarter. But I also have to I have to give credit where credit is due. Frank Vogel has done an excellent job of adjusting and subtracting the weak links and adding the strengths to this rotation. My only gripe with him is he continues to still play Westbrook and Rondo at the same time, and that is not going to work very much. But the floor spacing by having AD at the 5 instead of DeAndre or anybody else, I told you guys it's going to work. And he looked phenomenal, especially in the first half. But I got to say, hero of the game, man. Hero of the game got to be THC because he just added, like I told you guys pregame, he was going to do it. He added a complete different dimension to this lineup. Like when we stuck over here with our settling offense and breaking threes and we go on these dry spells, THT can get to the hole and he can make things happen, guys. Much better by having him adding that young, youthful dynamic. Also in transition, he's very lethal, man. His slashing game is very good. Like the soft touch he has, the way he can attack the rim, change pace, and leave it softly off the glass. He's phenomenal, and he continues to show why he's the future of this team. My boy Alex, appreciate the donation, bro. He said THC Davis saved this Vogel starting lineup fire. Yes, and the thing is, defensively, we still have some improvements to do, but it really helps to have a young wing like THC out there, man. I gotta tell you, he ends up tonight. He could have had easily a 20 piece, but he missed a couple of open shots. That's okay. He went 7 for 14, so 50% from the field for 17 points. He was a plus 14, which was the highest on the team, and that tells you how important he is to this basketball team. He only had 2 turnovers, which is good for as much as he handles the ball. He had 4 rebounds, a steal, and a block. So he fills up the box score. And again, the team shot lights out. The floor spacing by having AD at the 5 is so much better. Wayne Ellington came in off the bench, dropped 15. Phenomenal game by him. I told you guys his shooting was going to be crucial to this team. And, this team has improved tremendously from beyond the arc. I thought Melo was great too, especially down the stretch with that clutch dagger. Carmelo Anthony's a big-time shot taker, and Maker had 15 points today as a starter, so not bad at all. And then let's not forget about Anthony Davis, man. This man had 27 points in the first half. Now, I'm a little disappointed he didn't end up with 40-plus, but that's all right. San Antonio, very smart basketball team. They made the adjustment, and they held them to, 13 points in the second half? But I got to say, he played well because – he didn't force the issue there in the end. He made the right passes, and as a result, hit the wide open shooters for open 3. So in that sense, he dominated the full game. If you paid attention to the detail, man, Anthony Davis played really smart brand of basketball. Sometimes we were setting him up for failure by giving him entry passes with 4 seconds on the shot clock. But other than that, again, there's only so much he can do with that. I thought the Lakers did a good job. However, in the fourth quarter, I thought with 4 minutes to go, he should have left the team that was out there with Rondo, THT, I think it was AD, Melo, and Bradley. I think that team should have closed out because as soon as we put Russ in the fourth quarter, he started doing Russ typical things, turning the ball over and just boneheaded shots. And we lost the lead. They caught up all the way to within 2 points. And this is the little mistakes I want Frank Vogel to eliminate. Okay, he did a great job by not playing Kent Bazemore or DeAndre tonight. Did you guys notice that? Neither of those 2 guys saw the court. So he sent the message, hey, sloppy and lazy play and missing layups and all this crap isn't acceptable. That's good. But he has to hold the stars to the same accountability. I thought Russell shouldn't have been there in the fourth quarter with the way the team was closing out. What a layup by THC, by the way. Did you guys see that little reverse layup under the defender's hand? I think he got slapped too. I absolutely love what he's going to bring to the table. I can't wait till LeBron comes back and seeing how we incorporate everything we have right now. Malik Monk also off the bench. Phenomenal, man. Phenomenal. What do you have? Like 15 points? Big shot after big shot, man. Let's go confirm that. Malik Monk ends up with 16 points. He was a +8 off the bench. He went 6 for 10 from the field and 2 from 4 from beyond the arc. Not to mention, man, his playmaking abilities, very underrated. My man ends up with 4 assists off the bench. Gotta love what Malik Monk is doing. We knew he was gonna come here and do work, but He said, Dan, as much as I like Caruso, I was happy they kept THT instead. I've been saying it, and it's not the popular thing to say because obviously Caruso was a fan favorite, but THT had way more potential. I would have been upset if we would have kept Caruso and got rid of THT because I feel like Caruso already hit his ceiling as far as defensive and offensive potential. However, THT is getting better. Also had a huge block and a steal in this game, a couple deflections. I would have took the young buck as well. I mean, that's a no-brainer. Not to mention, we replenished some of that production with your boy Austin Reeves. My boy Nazir, appreciate you, man. He said, I want more movement from Westbrook. I agree. He holds the ball too much sometimes, and that's where I thought tonight the floor spacing was so much better. Now, he had a couple of threes to his credit. If he can hit those more consistently, it would definitely help with the floor spacing. But most of the time they sag off, and he's going to have those wide open looks. He has to knock some of those down or move the rock or attack the basket, either one. Now, I did realize something, man, watching today's game. Russell Westbrook is no longer the Russell Westbrook. And this tends to happen. Sometimes the Lakers get star players, past their prime. It looks like Russell Westbrook's exiting his prime. He can't even make fast break dunks anymore, man. He used to sky high for those, and now he can barely touch the rim. Like, it was bad, guys. I feel like, yeah, we getting the older version of Russ, but he needs to adjust his game. Like, never did I think I'd see the day where Russ would have a couple of missed dunks and three-pointers instead. But he needs to adjust his game to accommodate his age. So tough, man. But he's been missing dunks this year, and I didn't want to say it, but Russ is getting old, man. Russ getting old, and I love him. I want Russ to do good. At 7 turnovers to only 7 assists, it's like basically he subtracted every single one of his assists that were non-impactful when you had 7 turnovers. Needs to take care of the basketball, man. Needs to. Wayne looked good. Wayne Ellington, we knew it. From the moment we brought him here, we knew he was a shooter. He said it himself. He holds himself to higher standards. I also like this defense today. His defense was great, man. Wayne Ellington is somebody who's capable. Somebody was trolling in the chat a couple of games ago when I said, I can't wait for Wayne Ellington to come back and provide some shooting and solid D. They were like, Wayne Ellington's not a shooter. I was like, what? Are you serious? You know, Wayne Ellington is a shooter, and he's proven that even these last couple of seasons. Man, I remember people bashing Ellington in the preseason. I'm saying, right? I'm saying, he said Russ is going to be 100 miles per hour. Yeah, he does go too fast. He needs to slow down a bit again. Yeah, it was Russell's birthday the other night. Not today, Elizabeth. You're a couple of days late, but yeah, still. Hey, Dan, would you trade Russ for Simmons? Not right now. Now, I want to see what this team can do as a whole when they come and they become complete, because I feel like we have more than enough. Now, credit to Russ is that he can provide a spark to us at times when we go, when we get dry from the field and we go on these dry spells. He can use his quickness and speed to get to the basket and do some things. So it's all about how you utilize this team. And I think tonight was probably Frank Vogel's best coaching job of the season so far. I definitely like the rotations, other than, like I said, Russell Westbrook and Rondo playing together, and in the fourth quarter not rocking with the lineup that was working. But other than that, man, I thought it was great. You know, Ben Bazemore hasn't been playing good, and we know DeAndre Jordan is a statue on defense. I felt like we were able to be more mobile, switch positions, and do different things here. I loved it. By the way, did you guys notice the dynamic that Malik Monk and THC had when they're on the court together? We had unlimited firepower, guys. It's like this team is really deep. It's all about finding out what combinations work on the floor at the same time. But overall, I was pleased with this game. I felt like every time San Antonio made a run, coach called the timeout finally at the right time. Like, we were down 8. Okay, coach called a timeout. Usually he waits till like either they're up or we're tied. It's like, we can't wait that long. We need these timeouts, coach, to stop the bleeding, stop the momentum. Tonight he did a better job of that. I give credit where credit is due. So I don't like these emotional fans coming at me talking about, you're too hard on Frank. No, I'm hard on Frank where it needed to be. But tonight, got to give him his flowers. He did a good job. Monk and TC played great today. They're going to be huge for us going forward. Can't wait to have none back. That's another thing. He's going to add another layer to this team as far as playmaking goes and an ability to score and defense too. He's a very solid defender. People forget Kendrick Nunn can really hold his own. Hey, the homegirl's in the house. She said THC is that guy. I see why we chose him over the rest of last year's squad. And remember, guys, you remember Tara, right? When I was like, THC is the one guy I would hate to lose this offseason. Everybody else besides AD and LeBron could get traded. And I guess the front office echoed my sentiment, because that's exactly what we did. Everybody else got moved, and we kept THT, LeBron, and AD, which I think was the no-brainer. So you're right, absolutely right, Tara. I think Taylor Horton Tucker is the future of this team. And if you can't see that by now, I don't know what to tell you, man. But he shows us it in glimpses. And, Taylor is that guy. We seen him. We saw him, grow up in front of our eyes. And Laker Nation loves our homegrown talent. That's why we're big fans of all the young talent over the years, even when we struggled, because you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Not only that, but I think the Lakers have done a phenomenal job of rebuilding while contending and having future pieces for like Austin Reeves. I think is going to be a big piece moving forward with this team. I think THC is another one of those. If we can lock up Malik Monk on a long-term contract, I'd love to have him. People forget he's only 23 years old, and I've been raving about this kid for years before we even got him. Matter of fact, there should be a video here where I was scouting young talent when he was in a draft in Kentucky, and I think I had picked him as well for the Lakers potentially with I don't know if it was a late first-round pick or early second. But yeah, Malik Monk has a lot of talent. Those three guys by themselves, I think, have more upside than anybody we had last year, um, at least offensively and some of them defensively. So love Caruso, but I hope we can finally get over this whole, oh my God, I wish we had him. Why did we choose him over THC? I hope we can get over this because there will be games when THC struggles. He's still young. He's still learning. But we have to get behind our players and love them and wish Caruso the best. By the way, we play them tomorrow, and I can't wait for that matchup. THC came back right in time, man. They're gonna go at it. I'm sure at some point they'll match up against each other, so it's gonna be a fun. And THC with his youth, athleticism, versatility, soft touch around the basket, and even his jumper looks better. Um, THC is that type of player that's just gonna infuse all kinds of energy and just make this team flow better. We look so much better with him in the starting lineup, to be honest with you. That's why we're able to get to 100 plus points today compared to the last time when we couldn't even get to 100, right? When we played the Timberwolves. So 114, and it seemed kind of effortless, to be honest with you. But you got to give major credit to the front office because they went out there this year and we got shooters, okay? Just to show you how great of shooting tonight was. Look, AD went 2 for 3 from beyond the arc. That's great because he's been struggling. That's a good sign. Carmelo Anthony, he went 2 for 3 as well. And then we had Russell Westbrook 3 for 5. That was the biggest surprise of the game. But he needs to take the ones that are open, and he needs to take them without thinking about it because that's his best shot. That's when his shot looks the most fluid, and he has the proper motions on the release and everything. Now THC struggled from beyond the arc today, but remember he's coming off of a finger injury, so his shot is going to get better and better. But I like this form, especially from the mid range. He went 1 from 5 from beyond the arc. He's going to start knocking those down. I'm not worried about that. His free throws was 2 for 2, so I'm happy. And overall, he was 50% from the field. So very well. And again, he had the highest plus minus on the team. Malik Monk and Wayne Ellington are so dynamic for us off the bench. Wayne Ellington 5 for 7 from beyond the arc, and Malik Monk 2 for 4. So both of those guys, man, 15 and 16 points respectively. They combined for 31 points. This team just has a lot of talent, and this is why we have to make sure that we play the right rotation. See? You see what I'm saying? So now all those people that were defending your boy Frank Vogel, this is why I'm so hard on him. He's capable of making the right roster adjustments, right? He did tonight. Tonight he did an excellent job of not playing our weaknesses. Had he inserted either DeAndre or Kent Bazemore, who knows? Not to be too hard on them, but we might have potentially lost. I mean, San Antonio played us really good. They kept coming back and they kept fighting. Credit to them. Of course, you expect that from a Greg Popovich led team. But yes, rotations absolutely matter, Rios. Absolutely. And hopefully you guys will stop getting on my case about getting on Frank Vogel's cases. I only do it because I love my team, man. Now, when Frank does a good job, again, I give him his flowers. Russell Westbrook is the one I'm getting on tonight because I got to say, man, I'm being very patient with this guy because I know if he's capable of turning it on like he did with Washington last season, I don't want to eat my words this early. So I'm being very cautiously optimistic about Russ. And again, he had another 7 turnover game. He needs to really, really look in the mirror and say, what am I doing wrong where I can cut back on these turnovers? That's all that's wrong with him, really. Everything else was fine. I don't mind aggressive Russ. I don't mind when he misses wide open threes as long as they're wide open. I don't mind stuff like that as long as he doesn't force it. But the turnovers do bother me, man, and they continue to be a concern for me because you would think by game number 14, he would be averaging less than 4, right? He needs to cut that down to less than 4. That's my key for him. But yes, you know what? This team shows massive potential now that we're getting healthy. And I'm happy. I'm happy that the youth is starting to blend in with the veterans, and we're gonna look really good, man. Really good. He said, Dan, we need Nunn too. That's another thing. Kendrick Nunn, again, when we add him to the roster, different dynamic, more playmaking, more shot making abilities off the bench. Now, my only thing is who's going to bite the bullet, right? Who's going to be the player that takes the back seat? I had already kind of predicted it was going to be Kent Bazemore, but somebody else might get less minutes when we bring back. I think it's going to be Rondo. It's going to be the next one to get his minutes cut, at least up until the playoffs, or we need veteran experience. If we healthy, everything's going to be fine. I agree with you. I think at this point, Russell Westbrook would be better off coming off the bench. I have Rondo start instead. I mean, look, that's something that's been floated out there. Now, I would say this: if he was off the bench, how would that, mess with the dynamics of the bench players like Carmelo? Are they gonna what's the order there? Is it gonna be Russ first, Carmelo second? Because I like Russ. I like Carmelo and Malik Monk being our primary options off the bench. So my only thing about Russ is he tries to do too much late in games, and I feel like most of the turnovers come late in games. Instead of making the regular pass, he forces it and turns the ball over 90% of the time. He just needs to, regular entry passes, slow it down. Make sure you look before you release the ball, because I feel like his body language gives it away to the defenses. You guys play basketball in real life, you know that you can give away a pass without even, throwing it, by just looking in that direction and not faking the other way and just looking, and then it's like a body language thing. It's like sign language, where you look at somebody and you tell them the ball's coming. Defender sees that, jump in the passing lane, they intercept it. That happened tonight a couple of times with Russ. He needs to stop that. He needs to stop giving away his moves with his body language. He needs to be a little more deceptive as a lead guard for the Lakers. Hey, what's up, Alex? He said, oh my God, we play the Spurs for the third time. Really? No, this is the second time. The other team was Memphis. I think you're confusing Memphis. This is the second time we beat them this season. So he said THC still doesn't have a jump shot. Were you watching the game, Benji? He definitely has a jump shot, and not just a regular jump shot. He has an off the dribble jump shot similar to Malik Monk's. Now, obviously, Malik Monk's a better 3-point shooter, but THC has a jumper. The only thing is, I feel like he hesitated tonight. There was a couple of plays when he had an open shot, and he was like, "Oh, I missed the last shot." And so he preferred to attack, and sometimes it led to a turnover. That's okay. It's a young player mistake. He needs to just, anytime he's open, just let it fly. His form is there, man. It looks great. He hit his first 3-pointer of the game, then he missed his last 4. But the mid-range shot off the dribble and everything, he was doing phenomenal things. Phenomenal things. Any news on LeBron's return? He's supposedly day-to-day, but I actually, if I'm using my spidey sense here, man, I expect him to play tomorrow. The only reason he didn't play today is it's a back-to-back, and you prefer him to play the harder game versus Chicago. That's just my opinion. We'll see if it comes to fruition tomorrow. You heard it here first. Chapito says, Russ needs to just relax and observe the floor before making the moves. He has tunnel vision, which leads to forced passes, which result into multiple turnovers. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's exactly what I've been saying, Chapito. Like, Russell Westbrook is just, he's used. Look, as a player gets older, you have to start changing up your game, because you don't no longer have the same abilities you once had. Okay, maybe old Russell Westbrook would be able to jump in there, double clutch a layup, and then end up passing it to somebody who's open at the last minute. New Russell Westbrook can't even get a dunk, in the fast break. Like, he has to adjust. He has to adjust to the fact that he's no longer the same player, and he's gonna have to change up his game a little bit. I like the bank shot in transition. As long as he's wide open from the mid range, I like that one. I like when he attacks the rim, but he's looking to be aggressive instead of just getting up in the air and hoping somebody gets open. So you're right. THC haters are out. They're going to be out. They're going to be out pretty soon. Watch. He'll have a bad game here or there. I mean, he's a young player, and they're going to come and flood this channel, and I'm ready for them, and I got all the ammunition I need. You're going to hear all the people say, oh, we should have kept Caruso. This is always what some fair weather fans do, right? These are the same people that say we should have kept Brandon Ingram over Kuzma when that wasn't even an option. Clearly, the Pelicans wanted Brandon Ingram, and clearly because he had more potential, right? So these are the same people that just talk out of their backside, and they don't think about what they say. But we got to kind of either ignore them or address them and quickly discard them, because their basketball opinions really don't matter. People that just are always negative, especially on young players, really puzzle me. It's like, y'all have no patience for these young cats. He said, "Yo, Dan, per Ryan Ward, tomorrow's game against the Bulls will be that much more interesting if LeBron James makes his return to the floor. I think he will. I think he that my gut says if I was the front office, I would have sat him out this game because it was very winnable without him, especially with THC returning and giving us that little spark. And then I'll bring him back next game. Can you imagine what a starting lineup of Russell Westbrook, THC, LeBron James, Avery Bradley, and AD would look like? We haven't seen it yet, not even in preseason. So I'm looking forward to seeing that dynamic as soon as it hits the floor. I think it's going to work out. Maybe when Austin Reeves come back, I would swap Avery Bradley for Austin Reeves, but coach most likely won't do it. But that's my preferred starting lineup. He said, Dan, I like THT. Kind of reminds me of Julius Randle, sometimes out of control. Uh Julius Randle was a power forward, and so his handles weren't really tight till he got to that next level, right? And when he was with the Lakers, he would turn the ball over a lot. Now THC actually has good handles. Like, did you guys see that pass to Dwight Howard when Dwight, got stripped? Like THC can play make for others and has great handles. Randall was a wild card. You never know if he was going to make a good play or a bad play when he was with us. But yes, we always saw the potential. I don't see the comparison, however, because THC is a different player. He's a shooting guard slash small forward slash point guard. Randall was a power forward and he was a bully. So completely two different types of players. But I can kind of see why you would make that comparison because they're both very strong in their upper body strength and they finish around the basket, both of them. So they both have an elite slashing game. So I can kind of see your comparison, but remember, different positions, different player. What we need from THT is for that 1 for 5 to come up to 2 for 5. I'll be happy with that. If he can hit two to three 3-pointers a game, he'll make the defense be honest, and they won't be able to sag off of him and as a result pack the paint, which is what we need for him to stay out there on the floor with the starting lineup. So hopefully, again, he's just first game back, so his shooting wasn't all the way there. Remember, he's coming off of a finger surgery. But as he continues to progress, I think he'll get more comfortable. The jumper looked great to me, especially off the mid range. He looked phenomenal. So I think that will not be a problem moving forward. Appreciate your tactics. He said Westbrook should start, but Rondo should finish games more often, more under control, and less turnover prone. I agree with that. As long as LeBron isn't back, I think you're right. Your take is legit. But however, when LeBron is back, he commands the basketball. He comes up to grab it. And so it doesn't matter if Russell Westbrook's out there in the fourth or not because he's not going to be holding the ball. And I actually think Russell Westbrook off ball would be better because then he can either cut to the basket or move without the basketball and then catch or either shoot or attack the rim or pass, instead of having to figure out how, because when you're the lead guard, especially in the fourth quarter, you have to set everything up. You have to call the play. You have to make sure you come take the screen. You have to read the floor. And then you have to make the proper either pass or you have to look to score, whatever it is. It's too much responsibility for Russell Westbrook at this point. So I think, LeBron is going to be straight. LeBron, when he comes back, everybody falls in their place. But I do agree. As long as LeBron's not out there, I think Rondo would be the next best floor general out there. Or here's another take. Because I think he's done a good job down the stretch of games in the past. It could also be THC handling the rock at the end of games. I trust him a little bit more than Westbrook at this point, to be honest. Not to mention Malik Monk. Malik Monk can come off of a screen and do some damage as well. So we have options, guys. And then when Kendrick Nunn returns, he's another one you can trust with the ball in his hands. So Russ needs to change his game to more of a defensive stopper. He has the quickness and the tenacity to be one. That would be nice. If he can focus more of his energy on defense, it would really elevate our team, kind of like a Marcus Smart type. I agree with you there. But I think at this point of his career, he's just so stubborn, he's not even going to do that. But it would really show how unselfish he is if he did that. That would be dope. Yes, sir. We won because Bazemore didn't play. And DeAndre. Let's not forget DeAndre, who's the biggest gargoyle on the team. I mean, he's a stone, man. When that sun comes out, he's a stone. So, yeah, I'm glad Coach made that decision. Executive decision coming from the top. Let's hope he keeps that up, though, because, as these players start trickling back in, there's going to be less minutes available for mediocre players. And the way Kent Bazemore was in the starting lineup, he looked mediocre. Now, I wouldn't mind him in the limited role off the bench, but in the starting lineup, it's just not for him. And I'm glad it looks like, okay, because I don't know, the coaching staff is unpredictable from game to game. but it looks like they figured that out. My boy Justin coming with the news. He said Ryan Ward says Vogel still insisted before tonight's game that LeBron remains day to day. So we'll probably won't know his status until Monday morning or leading up to the game time. 90% of me believes he's going to play tomorrow. And that's just my gut. That's just my gut. So Dan, how do you see that? How do you see the THC and AR chemistry on the team? I think those two can really work well off of each other because Austin Reeves is somebody who could play without the basketball, but also he locks up on defense. And so does THT. Did you see THC's defense? There was a couple of times when, one of the perimeter players from the Spurs would try to take that screen and go to the middle of the court where they usually finish at the rim or kick it out to a three-point shooter when the defense collapsed. THC was able to bottle them up, conceal them, and force them to pick up the basketball, hence running a different play and the shot clock winding down. It's crucial to have those type of on-ball defenders. Austin Reeves is another one of those. They contest almost every shot, and they prevent easy lanes to the basket for the most part. I look forward to seeing if those two actually share the floor. That would be really cool. And that, again, I've been saying it for a while, but I would have been started Austin Reeves. And I think I give him the nod over Avery Bradley, even though Avery Bradley is a very solid defender. But offensively, he's a wild card. You never know what you're going to get. For example, tonight, Avery Bradley, and we didn't need it, to be fair, but Avery Bradley had a bagel, 0 points on 0 for 3 from the field. That can happen from him. Coming off of a good game, I think Austin Reeves gives you a more steady diet of wide open shot taking and making. Ken Bazemore is okay, Dan. Yeah, he's solid. I mean, but off the bench, not as a starter. No, not as a starter. He said, "Who saw that tweet layup by THT? That sweet layup by THT." He's nasty, man. And what allows him to make those kind of contorting plays, besides the fact that he's explosive and athletic and has high basketball IQ around the basket, is the fact that he has these big meat hubs, right? These big, like, baseball glove hands where he could just cuff the basketball and do things with it that your average player can't do. And not to mention the 7'1" wingspan. He's great. He even posterizes people. So he's only going to get better. He didn't look as comfortable as I thought he would coming out of the gates, but that's because, again, first game back in a couple months, he's going to be phenomenal, guys. He fits perfectly with what this team needs. Because if you think about it, look at the starting lineup for what it was. Ken Bazemore can't shoot or slash. He misses hella layups. So really, he's really only out there for once in a while shot making and taking and defense. But if that's subpar, then he's irrelevant. It's like you're playing 5-on-4. DJ, same thing. Stone hands. He's good to catch a good lob or two a game. He'll get you like maybe 5 rebounds if he gets heavy minutes max. He's not going to do anything spectacular, maybe a block here or there. But outside of that, you put him in a pick and roll, and he's barbecue chicken alert. They're going to cook him. Now, inserting THC into the lineup, he can hold his own. He can fight through screens. Matter of fact, he got a couple of calls where he ran through the screen. They were moving. THC will fight through the screens. He'll use his wingspan to bother. He bothered a couple of passes, even under the basket. And he can even get you a block or two. You never know here situationally. But overall, what he brings is that slashing ability that this team has been lacking, right? Outside of LeBron. LeBron, obviously, elite slasher. We thought Russell Westbrook will bring us more of that, but he hasn't really been getting to the cup and finishing like that. Once in a while, you get a highlight from him like that, but we need more. And that's where THC steps in. Did you see when they thought they had him bottled in with 4 seconds left in the clock in the fourth quarter? He uses that quick first step and his long strides and wingspan, gets to the cup, easy layup. That's game changer type abilities, man. And we needed him really badly because we didn't have that outside of LeBron consistently. He said, Dan, okay. He said, Dan, I heard the Bucks fans say AD 34 points tonight was nothing. Wait, what? I heard Bucks fans. I don't know, man. Look, enjoy your championship because this is the last one you might ever see. All right, and that's just me being nice. But I don't want to talk bad about Bucks fans. It could have just been one ignorant fan. Most of them have been classy and cool, at least with me. So I'm not going to take it there. So just enjoy the one championship you might get to see in your lifetime. Because we're coming. We're coming, man. We're coming to break records. Bucks game's going to be a movie. I'm looking forward to the Bulls game. I'm not even looking forward to any other games ahead of time. We have to take it one game at a time. One thing the Lakers haven't done is put together consistent efforts. We might show up versus the Heat and disappear versus the Timberwolves. Now we show up again tonight against the Spurs. Let's not disappear versus the Bulls. Let's put together consistent effort on back-to-back games and then try to build from that. But yeah, one game at a time. All right, this Bulls game is going to be tough. All right, this Chicago Bulls game is going to be fun. They got a way better team. I'm not even going to get too much into it because I want to save some for tomorrow's pregame. But let's just say they're a completely different team. All right, just like us, they revamped their roster. They added some All-Stars, DeMar DeRozan, or has been All-Stars, but still. They added some really good role players, Caruso, Lonzo Ball, and they already had a star player or two in Vucevic and Zach LaVine. So that's a team that plays with a lot of heart, and they're coached by Billy Donovan, which is perfect for them because they're a younger team. And he was a great college coach for the Gators. So it kind of fits in with the whole development situation. But they're learning how to win on the fly. And this is something, even though Vucevic is out, it's something the Lakers have to do is we have to exploit them while they learn. We have to capitalize on that and make them make mistakes and then capitalize off of those mistakes. And that's going to give us our best chance to win tomorrow. But I look forward to it, guys. I look forward to it. He said Lonzo Ball. He's been phenomenal. We always loved him since he was a Laker, man. Lonzo Ball is a baller. Just like his brother. Well, his brother's better. But, what I like about his Lonzo is that he's so unselfish and he plays excellent defense. Very good player. Very, very good player. Dan, looks like Furious Hector? I don't know who that is, brother. I'm sorry. He said, Bulls playing the Clippers tonight, us tomorrow. Well, the good news is that we're both going to be coming off a back-to-back. So that whole tired excuse, if we lose tomorrow, I don't want to hear it. Okay? They're going to come off of a back-to-back as well. And matter of fact, let's see how they play tonight versus the Flippers. I mean, I'm not going to watch the game personally, but, hopefully the Bulls get a win, and that way they're not, as hungry to play versus us the next day. He said Caruso will lock up THC tomorrow. Nah, nobody's locking up THC. I'm sorry, Caruso's a good defender, but no, nobody's locking up THC. He can get anywhere he wants, whenever he wants. People forget that in preseason, he dropped a 30-piece on Kawhi Leonard. So if that doesn't tell you something, I don't know what does, man. Caruso's nice, but he's no THC. Caruso's good for 7 points a game, maybe two to three steals, depending on who he's guarding that night, and some very good game time plays. Like if he's in the fourth quarter stretch, he's out here diving for loose balls. He shows a lot of heart, and that's why he became a fan favorite. But if we're talking about pound for pound, who has more potential, I'm taking THC every day and twice on a Sunday. Twice on a Sunday. Caruso started in the finals. Yeah, he did. And he played great, and we're thankful for that. But he's no THC, man. Not offensively. Like, Caruso can't create for himself. He's good at, straight line drives to the basket. He's good at put-back dunks, hustle plays. That's what he does. Different players. We already have a hustle player on this team. His name is Austin Reeves, and we got him on a cheaper contract. I'm sorry, Caruso fans. It didn't work out. He didn't get signed and all that, but I'm not salty about it. I like our team. He said, Dan, do you think this is who we are? Not yet. We still got a couple players to recover before we can finally find our identity. The Lakers clearly haven't found their identity because we're liable to go and ball out one game, and then the next game, we can disappear. So when we put 4, 5, 6 good games, good wins together, then you're going to start seeing, okay, this is who the Lakers are. They don't have an identity right now. And part of that is on the coaching staff, but if they continue to improve like they did tonight, straight. Benji's a diehard Caruso fan, huh? I see that. Hey, props to you, man. I ain't got nothing against Alex Caruso. I don't buy all the extra hype that people swear like you can't win a championship without him. Nah, that's not the case. He said THT was younger and didn't get too much playing time. Caruso had the best defense and was a little older. He was a great player for us while it lasted, but the Lakers didn't feel like he was worth all that money. And they felt like we can allocate that money amongst different players like THT, Malik Monk, and different guys. Obviously, AR-15. If you're telling me who would I take, Caruso or these three players, it's not even a question. It's not. Matter of fact, if you tell me who I would take between THT or Caruso, THT, hands down. Hands down. And I was actually afraid they might make the wrong decision and go for the now rather than the now and the later. And that's what THT is. He's a guy who can help you now and definitely going to help you later down the stretch. As we get older as a unit, a couple years down the road, you're going to see really this kid spread his wings and fly. Dan, is LeBron playing tomorrow against the Bulls? If I had to bet my life on it, yes, he is. But nothing's a guarantee. You said Lakers versus Bulls, Rams versus Niners. Which game you watching, Dan? I'm going to be flipping between both. But as much as I love my Rams, I'm a diehard Laker fan. So I'll be watching that one primarily. But I might have my phone on the Rams game and my TV on the Laker game just to watch both. I mean, those are my two teams, man. He said, you blame the coach and we needed our ball handler back. Yeah, I blame the coach. Of course I blame the coach for the stupid rotations. Listen, I don't mince my words. I don't take back nothing I said. I still think a lot of those games that we lost were on the coach. But you're entitled to your opinion, man. We don't have to agree, bottom line. I see you want to get on my head about blaming the coach, but the coach actually proved me right tonight by not playing DeAndre Jordan or Bazemore, and you see the results. So, yes, I did blame the coach. Dan, how you been, man? How you been? I've been good, brother. Thank you, man. I've been blessed. Yes, sir. Byron. Thanks for asking, man. I don't get asked that question enough. So when you guys ask me, I do appreciate it, man. Thank you. It's been a blessing, ups and downs with the Lakers. But overall, I feel like if the Lakers could just build on this and continue these positive rotations instead of throwing, random players out there, I think we can build on this. But coaching staff has to show some consistency, man. They act like AC, a Kawhi Leonard or Gary Payton kind of defensive player. That's the problem, Stacey. That is the problem right there. You said it perfectly. Touched on the head. They overrate their players so much that when they're gone, they can't let go. I'm a Laker fan first. I'm sorry. If I love Kuz, but he's gone. And I love what he's doing in Washington. But he didn't do that here because he didn't fit here. And I said it even after we ended the season. As much as I love Kuz, I think it's his time to go. We'll both benefit from our departure. He will get a bigger role somewhere. And he did. And he's doing phenomenal. I always knew Kuzma was better as a starter and as a first or second option, not a third or fourth option. And also, same thing with Caruso. He's fitting in with that role player role wherever he's at. And not to say he wouldn't have fit in here, but we made our choice and we're going to live with it. You too hard on the coach, but I understand you a fan. Of course. I'm going to be hard on everybody. I'm hard on Westbrook. I've been hard on AD. If you haven't been watching my channel enough, then that explains your comment. But I'm hard on everybody on this channel, man. And I praise people when they do good, And I don't know if you're trying to put me down for being a fan, but that's a compliment. I'm a diehard Laker fan for sure. He said, I think the change of scenery is helping Kuzma and KCP play better. If they stayed back, they wouldn't be as good on the Lakers. And it's the role. The role matters, too. There's no pressure over there because there was no expectations. There's pressure and expectations here, and the role definitely matters for sure. He said, yo, Dan, Wayne Ellington is shooting 54.2% from beyond the arc from three the last 4 games. That's why we brought him here. That's not a surprise. I mean, the percentages will go down a little bit, but that is not a surprise to me. That's what we expect them over 40% this season. Watching you all the way from the Bahamas, Dan, I appreciate your insight, bro. Thanks, Ian. I appreciate that, man. Shout out to the Bahamas for sure, all around the world. He said, yo, Dan, I love AC, but you can't compare AC. I can't compare AC, the older player, than a young. Wait, what? I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what you're saying, bro. Is it a big loss for the Rams, Dan, with Woods out? He said with the ACL. Yeah, that is tough, but this is exactly why we brought Odell Beckham Jr. If anything, the fit looks a lot more the fit makes a lot more sense now. A lot of people were questioning we had too much and he was going to complain. Now he's going to get some bombs from Matt Stafford this season. Watch. My boy said, Dan, you aren't the only one. I go hard and I do that with my favorite teams, Mavs, Thunder, also the Cowboys. Well, here's the difference between me and other Laker commentators are actually professionals, right? They're not trying to sever their relationship with coaches and players. So they're not going to fully speak their mind. I speak my mind 100% of the time, whether it rubs people the wrong way or not. Sometimes people don't like to hear the truth, but that's why I'm here, man. I'm here to give people the truth. And if I feel like the coach is being detrimental to the team, I'm going to call him out. I'm not going to go and be like, oh, we have to be patient with the coach and give you the politically correct answer. I'm going to give you my emotional, in the moment, raw, straight off of a game answer. Whether you, I mean, some people don't like that. Some people like to, they like to be lied to and stuff like that. But nah, no lies detected here. And when I'm wrong, I'll tell you. I'll tell you when I'm wrong. But everything I say here, man, I never take back because in the moment, I 110% mean it. And all the people that get offended because I'm saying the coach should be fired and this, and that. That's how I felt at the time. And if he doesn't continue to improve, I still feel that way. I'm sorry. That's my opinion. I'm entitled to it, and you're entitled to your own. And I take no offense as long as we keep it respectful. But at the end of the day, you can follow me on Twitter too. I in-game live commentary tweet between me and the rest of these great, beautiful Laker fans. And emotions are raw and they're high. And, we get into it and I love it. I love that. It's part of what being a diehard fan is, whether you think I'm biased or objective or whatever, it doesn't really matter. Man, I appreciate the positivity, but it's good to have these conversations. I like people calling me out on stuff because it lets me clarify it for those new subscribers that are just joining the channel, because a lot of new subscribers will probably believe some of these comments. They haven't seen enough, right? But I'll tell you this, man, I don't think I've ever eaten my words to that point where I have to say, oh, I was completely wrong. The 2 times I probably ate my words about a player was Dwight Howard when we first acquired him. I didn't think it was going to work out because of the previous way he was playing on other teams. He was like joking around all the time, wasn't taking basketball serious, and he wasn't making an impact. I completely ate my words on that because he came in here and was a huge reason to why we won that championship. But I admitted it. I was like, you know what, Dwight Howard, I was wrong about him. I love him now. He grew on this fan base. He even became one of the fan favorites. It was a beautiful thing, right? But I like to be wrong in that manner. Like, prove me wrong and make me praise you. Force me to praise you. The second time I was wrong on this channel was about Dennis Schroeder. When we acquired him, I thought he would make a difference. He was the 6th man of the year. I thought Frank Vogel would probably either bring him off the bench. I didn't like from the beginning when he said, hey, I demand the starting positions. Like, you don't come to a defending championship team and demand the starting position. It doesn't work that way. From there, I kind of had my reservations about him, but I was wrong about him because I thought he would come here and make an impact. Little did I know he would be putting up bagels in the playoffs. So I was wrong about him. Those are the 2 times I was completely wrong about players. But most of the time, I told you guys about how special THT was when everybody wanted to trade him for Lowry. Now look at him. He's still here with the team. Front office sees eye to eye with me. I told you about Austin Reeves in Summer League and how I could foresee him cracking the rotation from how good he is. And now look at him. He's a special part of this defensive unit, and offensively, he holds his own. Now, Russell Westbrook, to be determined. I'm either going to be right about him as far as being patient and hoping it pays off down the stretch, or I'm going to be completely wrong and say, okay, this was another Dennis Schroeder situation. I hope that I'm right about him. That's what I need. Like, it's no problem in being wrong, but I really hope I'm right on this one because it helps my team out, right? So we'll see what happens with that. But to everybody telling me about the coaching and this and that, I mean, I hope y'all keep that same energy if he makes future mistakes. And like, I want y'all to come in here and continue to defend him because it's all about consistency for me. He said 100% on that fact, Stan. Still so happy that Schroeder is on another team. Yeah, man. Like, I think all of us were wrong about Dennis. I really thought Dennis would make an impact here. I said maybe another 6th man of the year candidate, or maybe he'll start. We'll see. But yeah, we were wrong about him. That kid has no heart. Still till today. No heart. And the biggest blessing, I think, was the fact that he turned down that $82 million contract. Huge. Huge. Benji said, keep that same energy for Westbrook. He sucks. Stop making excuses. Nobody's making excuses. I agree with you that he's been sucking, especially with the turnovers. So I don't know what you're talking about, Benji. I don't know what you're talking about. Nobody makes excuses. When he sucks, we call it out. We're not going to sit here and and lie to people, man, and say he was great. No. Now, however, I will give him time because I think he can turn it around. That's different than making excuses. He said TC is averaging 17 points per game this season. That's funny. That's funny because that's based off of just this game. But we'll see. His numbers might go up or down depending on how quickly LeBron returns. But it's not about the numbers. It's about how he's going to impact this unit when he's on the court. And I want to see a dynamic I want to see a dynamic THT that can do multiple things on the court. He said, "I'll take Russ over Dennis any day." I definitely agree. I definitely agree that he is an upgrade. But yeah, those fourth quarters, like Stacy says, he'd be having us nervous in that fourth quarter because you just never know what version you're gonna get. You know, but as far as people telling me to like switch on, see, you can't change my opinion on stuff. I'm very strong minded. You know, I don't go to ESPN for my basketball knowledge. I don't adopt their opinions. I know a lot of you guys are Skip Bayless stands. That's why you guys say stuff like that. Like this guy Benji, he says, "Dan, would you bench Westbrook for THC or Rondo in the clutch?" Absolutely, I would. I would do anything that helps my team out. The thing about me is I'm always team first before player. So I might have a favorite player on the team, but that doesn't mean that he comes before the team. Loyalty to the team, man, always, no matter what. But like I was saying, what was I saying? Oh yeah, about the Lakers. Like people want to change my opinion about Westbrook, and they want to hear me say that we should trade him early because they think I'm that quick to change my mind. Now I have a very strong mindset, and when I truly believe something, I believe it. No matter what ESPN or Fox says, that's not going to change my opinion. Halfway through the season, if I don't start seeing change from Westbrook, then that might change my opinion. But I'm going to give him an opportunity. I'm going to be a different type of fan. I'm going to be a patient fan. Yeah. Do I get mad? Heck yeah. I mean, who doesn't get mad? But just because you get mad at your family or get in a fight with them, don't mean you don't love them, right? Same thing applies to my Lakers. I might get mad at them, but that doesn't mean I'm not cheering for them or love them. So I'm rocking with Russell for now. I'm still on the Russell Westbrook train. I just think he needs to be better utilized. For example, if he messes up, hold him accountable, bench him. When LeBron comes back, let him run the unit in the fourth quarter and stuff like that. It's that simple. It's not anything crazy. But people really get mad at me for not saying trade Westbrook. Like, that's y'all opinion, bro. If that's how y'all feel, that's cool. But this is real life to me. This ain't 2K. You don't just turn around, snap your fingers, and trade a player. It doesn't work like that. It takes two to tango. He said, "I missed 2017 Russ. That's what we need from him." Look, Russell Westbrook's not going to be the same, but if he can change his game up a little bit and just be a little bit smarter, I think he can really help this team out tremendously. He still has a gear that most NBA players don't have. He's still one of the quicker NBA players. It's just he needs to be more under control. That's all. If he can be under control. But overall, man, what this team has done so far is they're trying to implement different rotation pieces into the lineup. I my one favorite thing about Vogel, and I'll give him his flowers tonight, is that he didn't waste any time in utilizing THC the right way. I definitely have to give him props for that because even I didn't expect him. I wanted him to start THC right away, if you guys remember my last post-game recaps, but I didn't expect he would do it because that takes, it takes some, what. So the fact that he did it, I give him props. I salute him. I applaud him. Hopefully he continues this bold coaching strategy, like removing Kent and DJ and letting the younger players shine. He said, "Hey Dan, I seen your tweet when you said Russ is old when he missed that dunk." Yeah, he's getting older. I mean it. Everything I tweet, I mean. Unless I'm just joking, but this is not a joke. I mean, did you guys see? He was out in transition and he thought he was in OKC again because he tried to clock that back. My man didn't even get the ball to the rim, bro. That was all bad. But I did like the aggression regardless, on that. He said 11 rebounds for Westbrook, Dan. We're going to call him Westbrook. All right? If you want to show him love, don't call him Westbrook. But yeah, 11 rebounds. I mean, that's something he does. We know that he's a triple-double machine. We need a better decision-making machine. He said LeBron will drag Russ to the finals. Russ has to learn to win a chip. Drag is a strong word. I would say he will hopefully take him with him, carry him, if anything. But drag is like, whoa, you make it sound like he's fighting the championship. You know what I mean? It's all good. He got hung. Russ is just too headstrong. He is, but I'm headstrong as well. When you're wrong, you just need to accept it, man. It's just a part of life. Not everybody can't be right all the time. And Russell Westbrook needs to accept the fact that he's no longer OKC Russell Westbrook. He will never be that again. But he can still be a very good, newer version of Russell Westbrook. And that's what he needs to embrace and, stop being so hard-headed. That's all. If he learns that, we're going to be straight, Laker Nation. But anyways, it's going to wrap it up for me. Thank you guys so much for everything. As always, per usual, man. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget to smash the like button, please. If you already haven't, please consider subscribing and smashing that post notification bell, man. It truly helps the channel. I think we're already at 16K. I think we might have hit that today. So congratulations, Laker Nation. Y'all made it happen. It really isn't really me. I'm just your humble host, man. And you guys really make everything happen. So thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. And yes, Lakers start off this back-to-back 2-game skid with a win. So that's huge, man. Very happy and excited for that. I'll be able to get myself some very good sleep, especially compared to the last game we played in Minnesota, right? But thank you guys again. And I'll see you guys right here tomorrow for that pregame, man. Be ready. It's going to be a tough matchup tomorrow versus these young, hungry Bulls and spearheaded by Alex Caruso. All right, then, guys. Have a great rest of your evening, and I'll see you guys